Before you touch your phone, before you carry yesterday into today, breathe. This hour isn't about motivation as a spark that fades. It's about reprogramming the voice you live with every single day. The voice that whispers when you're tired, that argues when you try, that doubts when you dream. Today, we're going to give that voice 9 new sentences, 9 anchors you can grab. When life starts to pull you under, I'll say them with you. I'll make you feel them. And by the end, you won't just remember them, you'll use them. Because change doesn't start with perfect plans. It starts with the words you allow in your mind at 6 a.m. in traffic, at 3 p.m., and when it's dark at 2 a.m. if you're ready to meet the strongest version of yourself. Say this with me in your mind. Today, I choose who I'm becoming. Let's begin. When you wake up each morning, you are faced with a simple truth. No one else is coming to live your life for you. No one else is going to make your choices, fight your battles, or carry your weight. It's you. And the moment you realize that, truly, deeply realize and think about it. If you blame the world for where you are, if you say it's your parents, your past, your boss, your partner, the economy, the government, what you're really saying is, I have no power. You hand over the keys to your future. You place your destiny in someone else's hands. And as long as you live in blame, you remain stuck, waiting for a rescue that will never come. But the second you whisper to yourself, I am responsible for my life, everything shifts. Suddenly, the power is back in your hands. Suddenly, you are no longer a victim, you are the author. Responsibility doesn't mean everything is your fault. Life throws storms at you that you never asked for. Pain, betrayal, loss, disappointment, these are not choices you made. But responsibility is not about blame, it's about ownership. You may not control the storm, but you control how you sail through it. You may not control what others do to you, but you control what you do next. That is where your power lies. Picture two people facing the same challenge: losing a job, failing an exam, being rejected. One says, life isn't fair. Why does this always happen to me? And they sink into despair. The other says, this hurts, but I will learn. I will grow. I will rise. Same situation, different response. What separates them? Responsibility. One chose to surrender. The other chose to stand. And life rewards the one who stands. If you want to build confidence, if you want to build strength, if you want to build a future worth living, it begins with this sentence. I am responsible for my life. Because responsibility kills excuses. It forces you to look in the mirror and admit, if it is to be, it's up to me. That truth is not always comfortable, but it is always liberating. Some people spend their whole lives waiting for perfect timing, waiting for luck, waiting for someone to see their worth. And while they wait, life passes them by. Responsibility ends the waiting. Responsibility says, I will not wait for opportunity. I will create it. I will not wait for motivation. I will discipline myself. I will not wait for someone to believe in me. I will believe in myself. That's what it means to take responsibility. And let's be honest, there will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when you're tired. When you want to quit. When you wish someone else would just carry the load. That's when this truth matters most. Responsibility is not a mood. It's a commitment. It's the decision to say, no matter how I feel, I will own my choices. Because your choices are the seeds of your future. What you eat, what you read, how you spend your time, who you surround yourself with, every choice adds up. And when you take responsibility, you stop planting weeds and start planting gardens. Maybe you've been told you're not enough. Maybe life has knocked you down more times than you can count. Maybe you feel like the odds are stacked against you. But here's the truth. As long as you breathe, you have a choice. You can choose to rise. You can choose to fight. You can choose to own your life, no matter how heavy it feels. Because nothing is more powerful than a person who refuses to give their power away. So, every morning, remind yourself, I am responsible for my life. Say it when you're tempted to procrastinate. Say it when you feel like giving up. Say it when you want to blame someone else. Because that sentence is a shield, and it is a sword. It protects you from victimhood, and it cuts through every excuse. And when you live with responsibility, something magical happens. People around you begin to notice. They respect you. They trust you. They follow you. Because responsibility is rare in a world of blame. And the one who takes responsibility becomes the one who leads, the one who inspires, the one who changes not only their own life, but the lives of everyone they touch. Responsibility is not about perfection. You will fail. You will stumble. You will fall. But when you take responsibility, you also take responsibility for standing back up. You refuse to let failure define you. You refuse to let circumstances dictate your destiny. You refuse to give away the pen that writes your story. And in that refusal, in that declaration of ownership, you step into a life of true power. Life is not meant to be easy. And somewhere deep down, you already know this. The things that matter. Most the dreams worth chasing, the relationships worth building, the strength worth earning, they don't come wrapped in comfort. They come wrapped in difficulty. They come through pain, sweat, failure, and frustration. And yet, here is the truth that changes everything. You can do hard things. Say that to yourself right now. Out loud if you can. I can do hard things. Those 5 words carry more power than you realize. Because every time you've been tested, every time you've been stretched, every time you thought you couldn't go on, but somehow kept moving, you proved it already. You proved it when you learned to walk, falling over and over until your tiny legs carried you forward. You proved it when you sat through nights of study, eyes heavy, but refusing to quit. You proved it when life broke your heart, and you still got up the next morning. Don't forget the evidence. Hard is not new to you. Hard has always been your teacher, and you've always survived the lesson. The problem is, most people run from hard. The moment resistance shows up, they retreat. They say, this is too much. This is not for me. Maybe I should quit. But those who grow, those who rise, those who build lives they're proud of are the ones who lean into hard. They understand that difficulty is not a wall meant to stop you, but a doorway meant to grow you. Every obstacle whispers, will you rise or will you run? And your answer defines your future. Think about it. When was the last time you were proud of yourself? Really proud, not because something came easy, but because it was hard and you did it anyway. Maybe it was finishing a marathon. Maybe it was staying sober. Maybe it was walking away from something toxic. Maybe it was showing up to work when life was falling apart. Pride is born in difficulty. Confidence is born in difficulty. Strength is born in difficulty. And every time you whisper to yourself, "I can do hard things," you give yourself permission to rise again. There will be moments when hard feels unbearable. When your body says stop. When your mind says quit. When your heart says you can't take one more step. But here is the secret. The human spirit is stronger than all three. Your body can go further than your brain believes. Your heart can heal from more than it imagines. And your mind, when disciplined, can carry you through storms that once terrified you. The limit is never where you think it is. The limit is always further, always beyond, always waiting for you to prove yourself again. And here's the thing. Doing hard things doesn't just change the outcome, it changes you. Every time you face resistance and push through, you are not only moving toward your goal, you are becoming a different person. You are rewriting your identity. You are telling yourself, "I am the kind of person who does not quit. I am the kind of person who finishes. I am the kind of person who endures." And once you adopt that identity, nothing can stop you. We live in a world addicted to easy, quick fixes, instant gratification, shortcuts. But nothing lasting comes from easy. Easy builds weakness. Hard builds strength. Easy feeds comfort. Hard feeds growth. Easy leaves you empty. Hard fills you with pride. If you want a life of meaning, you must train your soul to say yes to difficulty. Because the truth is, comfort will never change you. Discomfort will. Think of the strongest people you admire, not the ones who were handed success, but the ones who fought for it. Their stories inspire you not because everything was smooth, but because everything was hard. Their power came from struggle, and your story will be no different. The world will not remember you for what was easy. The world will remember you for what was hard and how you faced it. So the next time fear rises up, the next time you feel the weight of pressure, the next time you're tempted to quit, speak this truth to yourself. "I can do hard things." Feel it in your chest. Let it echo in your bones. Because once you accept that hard is not your enemy, but your ally, everything in your life changes. In a world that worships speed, instant results, and overnight success, it's easy to forget a fundamental truth. Your pace does not define your worth. What matters is progress. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Every day you choose to move, to try, to endure even quietly. Even when no one is watching, you are building momentum, shaping your destiny, and proving to yourself that you are unstoppable. Too often, we look at someone else's journey and compare it to our own. We scroll through social media, see achievements, promotions, milestones, and feel a sting of inadequacy. Why am I not there yet? We ask. Why am I moving so slowly? The truth is, your path is yours alone. Growth is not a race. Life is not a sprint. And every step you take at your pace, every small action repeated consistently, compounds into results that will astonish you if you remain patient and persistent. Think about a river carving through stone. It doesn't rush. It doesn't worry. It doesn't give up. It flows steadily, day after day, year after year, and eventually, it creates canyons, valleys, and landscapes that are breathtaking. Your pace may feel slow, progress may feel invisible, but that does not mean you are stagnant. That means you are building strength, resilience, and endurance that only time and persistence can create. Patience is not passive. Moving at your own pace is not laziness. Progress at your pace is intentional. It is courage disguised as consistency. Each time you choose to work, to practice, to learn, to grow, even when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, or slow, you are telling yourself, I am committed. I am persistent. I will arrive where I need to be. Your small daily victories are the foundation for your extraordinary future. We all have those days when it feels like nothing is happening. You wake up, you put in effort, and at the end of the day, you feel invisible results. You think, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I'm moving too slowly. But the truth is, growth is often invisible. The muscles you build, the skills you develop, the habits you reinforce, the mindset you strengthen, they are happening quietly beneath the surface. Just because you can't see the change today doesn't mean change isn't happening. Remember, the tortoise won the race, not because he was fast, but because he was steady. Not because he took giant leaps, but because he never stopped moving forward. And so it is with you. Your journey is not about speed. It is about persistence. Your journey is not about perfection. It is about dedication. Your journey is not about comparison. It is about commitment to yourself. Celebrate the small wins. Every time you complete a task, every time you resist giving up, every time you push through fear, that is progress. Progress doesn't have to be flashy. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to exist. And the more you recognize and honor your own pace, the more you cultivate a sense of trust in your self-trust that even slow movement is movement. Trust that each day you are closer to your goal than you were yesterday. Trust that patience is a weapon more powerful than frustration. It's easy to feel discouraged when life feels slow, when results are delayed, when others seem to be soaring ahead. But real growth is not measured by speed. Real growth is measured by endurance, by the ability to keep showing up, by the willingness to take small, consistent steps even when the path seems long, steep, or invisible. Your progress is cumulative, and your pace is perfect for the person you are becoming. So the next time you feel rushed, the next time comparison creeps in, the next time you doubt yourself, remind yourself, my pace is progress. Whisper it when you feel impatient. Say it when the results seem invisible. Feel it in your chest and let it steady your mind. Because when you honor your pace, you honor your journey, you honor your growth, and eventually, you will look back and realize that every small step, every quiet effort, every patient act of persistence carried you exactly where you needed to be. And in that awareness, a quiet strength grows inside you, steadier than frustration, firmer than doubt, unwavering in the face of life's noise. Every day, life presents a choice. A simple, quiet choice that often goes unnoticed, but one that defines the trajectory of your life. You can choose comfort, the easy path, the familiar shelter of safety. Or you can choose courage, the path that demands more from you, that tests you, that stretches you, and that ultimately shapes you into the person you are meant to become. And today, right now, you have the power to choose courage over comfort. Comfort is seductive. It whispers to you, stay here. Don't risk it. Don't push it. Don't upset the balance. It makes excuses feel reasonable. Procrastination feel safe. Fear feel logical. Comfort is like a soft blanket that lulls you into mediocrity, convincing you that safety equals security, and in doing so, stealing your potential. And the cruelest part? The longer you surrender to comfort, the heavier it feels, the harder it becomes to break free. And the more you wonder where your life went while you stayed safe. Courage, on the other hand, is demanding. It asks you to face fear, to step into uncertainty, to do what terrifies you yet matters the most. Courage is the voice inside your head that whispers, if it scares me, it probably matters. If it's uncomfortable, it probably grows me. Courage asks for vulnerability. It asks for action even when the outcome is unknown. And courage is never convenient, but it is always transformative. Think about the moments in your life when you were truly proud of yourself. Was it when everything went smoothly, when the path was clear, when no risk was involved? Or was it when you did something difficult, something uncomfortable, something that made your heart race and your hands shake? True pride, real growth. Unforgettable success always comes from courage, and it always demands you leave the comfort zone behind. Choosing courage does not mean fear disappears. Fear will always exist, and it will always be louder than your reason. But courage is not the absence of fear, it is action in spite of fear. It is moving forward, even when your body wants to retreat. It is raising your hand, speaking your truth, taking the step, starting the conversation, chasing the dream, standing alone, risking judgment, and refusing to let fear dictate your life. Courage is the bridge between who you are and who you are. Becoming. Imagine all the opportunities you've ignored, all the risks you didn't take, all the conversations you avoided, all the dreams you abandoned because comfort seemed easier. Each of those moments was a test, a chance to be brave, a chance to grow, a chance to change your life. And each time you chose comfort instead, you delayed your own transformation. Today, that stops. Today, you declare, I will choose courage. The beauty of courage is that it compounds. Each act of bravery, no matter how small, makes the next act easier. The first time you speak up when your heart trembles, the next time you speak up, your voice is stronger. The first time you face rejection, the second time rejection stings less and teaches more. The first time you risk failure, you discover that failure is not fatal, but fuel. Courage grows each time it is exercised, like a muscle, unrelenting, building strength that no comfort could ever provide. Courage is not always dramatic. It does not always involve heroic feats or grand gestures. Often, it is quiet, internal, and personal. It is waking up and choosing to try again. It is refusing to stay in a job, relationship, or mindset that diminishes you. It is setting boundaries, speaking your truth, and holding yourself accountable. It is standing firm when everyone else wavers, and even when no one notices, even when the world seems indifferent. Courage reshapes you from the inside out. So today, and every day, remind yourself, comfort is a trap. Courage is freedom. Comfort keeps you safe. Courage makes you alive. Comfort allows life to pass you by. Courage gives life meaning. Comfort whispers lies about what is possible. Courage speaks truth. You are stronger than your fear. You are braver than you believe. You are capable of more than you imagine. Every choice, every step, every moment you face discomfort and act anyway. You are building a life of purpose, resilience, and power. You are becoming the person who inspires others, not by luck, but by bravery. And it all begins with a decision. Today, I will act. Today, I will speak. Today, I will choose courage over comfort. And in that choice, in that quiet but deliberate rebellion against fear, a new version of yourself emerges stronger, wiser, and alive in ways comfort could never allow. One of the heaviest burdens we carry is the feeling that we are not enough. Not smart enough, not strong enough, not talented enough, not deserving enough. From the moment we wake up to the moment we sleep, the world bombards us with messages telling us we need more, we should be more, we must achieve more to be worthy, and somewhere inside, a quiet voice begins to echo, I am not enough. But what if I told you that the first step toward true power, happiness, and freedom is to embrace the truth? You are enough. Yes, enough. Right now. In this moment. Not after success. Not after approval. Not after someone notices. You are enough simply because you exist. Your value is not contingent on achievement, recognition, or comparison. It is inherent, unshakable, and undeniable. And when you accept this, when you fully internalize it, something extraordinary happens. You stop fighting yourself. You stop waiting for permission. And you begin to act from a place of strength rather than lack. Yet being enough does not mean complacency. It does not mean settling. It does not mean sitting idle and pretending growth isn't necessary. Being enough and becoming more exist together. One nourishes the other. By acknowledging your worth, you give yourself the foundation to reach higher, push further, and evolve without fear or shame. When you operate from a place of enough, you act with confidence. You chase your dreams without desperation, and you take risks without needing validation. You are already whole, but you are also a work in progress, and that is beautiful. Think about it. Every skill you learn, every habit you build, every challenge you overcome is not a sign that you were once lacking. It is proof of your evolution. You are not fixing yourself. You are expanding yourself. You are not chasing worth. You are embracing growth. And the moment you stop defining yourself by what you lack and start defining yourself by your journey, your resilience, and your courage, life opens up in ways you never imagined. We often get trapped in a cycle of comparison, looking at others, and thinking they are further ahead, better, or more deserving. But comparing yourself to someone else erases the truth of your own path. You cannot see their struggles, their failures, the nights they stayed awake doubting themselves. Every person has their own journey, their own timing, and their own battles. Your responsibility is not to match them. It is to honor yourself right now while striving to grow, while becoming more, while embracing the fullness of who you are. Self-acceptance and self-improvement are not contradictory, they are partners. When you start from a place of enough, your growth is fueled by love rather than fear. You are not trying to prove yourself to anyone, not even to yourself. You are becoming more because you respect the life you've been given, because you understand your potential, and because you are committed to showing up fully. Day after day, imagine the freedom in saying to yourself, I am enough. Feel it resonate in your chest. Feel it steady your heart. Feel it release the weight of comparison, self-judgment, and fear. And now imagine saying, I am becoming more. Feel the spark of possibility. Feel the courage to push forward. Feel the excitement of your own evolution. These two truths are not contradictory. They are complementary. One grounds you, and the other propels you. One heals you, and the other inspires you. One reminds you of your worth, and the other reminds you of your potential. Every day is an opportunity to live this dual truth. Every morning, when you look in the mirror, remind yourself that you are enough. And then ask, what step can I take today to become more? Every challenge is an invitation to grow. Not because you are broken, but because you are expanding. Every setback is a teacher, not a reflection of inadequacy, but an opportunity to strengthen the parts of you that are already worthy. And here is the beauty of it. When you embrace both enoughness and growth, you free yourself from fear. You are no longer paralyzed by imperfection, by failure, or by the impossible standards others set. You are no longer waiting for external validation to feel whole. Instead, you move through life with confidence, curiosity, and courage, knowing that you are complete, capable, and endlessly evolving. Being enough and becoming more is not a destination. It is a journey that asks you to honor yourself, to push yourself, to trust yourself, and to love yourself in every stage of growth. And the moment you begin living this truth, the way you see yourself, the way you act, and the way you pursue your every thought you give attention to is a seed. Every worry, every hope, every vision, every fear, these are seeds that take root in your mind, your heart, and eventually in your life. What you choose to focus on is what grows. And the reality is, your attention is your most powerful tool. It can build or it can destroy. It can elevate or it can imprison. And yet, most of us scatter our focus, letting distractions, doubts, and negativity dictate where our energy flows. Today, you must remind yourself, what I focus on grows. The human mind is naturally drawn to what is loud, urgent, or threatening. It is easy to dwell on mistakes, setbacks, and fears. It is easy to obsess over what others think, what could go wrong, and what we have not yet achieved. But here is the truth. Dwelling on these things does not protect you. Dwelling on them does not solve problems. Dwelling on them only gives them power over your life. What you choose to feed What you choose to water with your attention becomes bigger, more dominant, more real in your world. Focus is not just a mental exercise, it is a choice, a discipline, and a form of courage. When you decide where to place your energy, you are choosing which parts of your life you want to grow and which you will let wither. Attention is currency. Spend it wisely. Invest in your dreams, your purpose, your relationships, and your growth. The moment you choose to focus on fear, anger, or comparison, you enrich what you do not want and starve what you do. The moment you focus on possibility, gratitude, and action, you cultivate a life that grows stronger, richer, and more meaningful every day. Think of a gardener tending a garden. If they constantly water the weeds, complain about the rocks, and ignore the soil, the garden becomes overrun, barren, and lifeless. But if they water the plants, nourish the soil, and pull out the weeds, life flourishes. Your mind works the same way. Attention is the water, thoughts are the seeds, and the life you live is the harvest. You cannot control everything that happens around you, but you can control where your mind goes, what you give energy to, and what you cultivate within yourself. We often underestimate the subtle power of focus. A single thought repeated daily can shape your confidence, your resilience, and your identity. A single fear obsessively entertained can erode your strength, your clarity, and your peace. A single goal consistently visualized and acted upon can become your reality, step by step, day by day. And it is never about intensity alone. It is about persistence. What you focus on each day becomes the trajectory of your life. Distractions are everywhere. Social media, noise, endless obligations, and uninvited opinions compete for your attention. But your mind, your heart, and your life cannot serve everything at once. You must choose. You must decide what deserves your energy. Will you water the fear or the courage, the doubt or the dream, the problem or the solution, the pain or the purpose? Where you place your attention defines not only your day but your life. It is also important to remember that focus is not denial. Choosing to focus on growth, possibility, and positivity does not mean ignoring problems or avoiding reality. It means directing your energy where it has impact. It means giving strength to solutions rather than feeding despair. It means actively shaping your life instead of reacting endlessly to what happens around you. The power is in the deliberate choice, the conscious act of deciding what matters most and committing to it fully. Your focus also defines your emotions. The more you dwell on what excites you, what inspires you, what challenges you constructively, the more your mind aligns with confidence, courage, and clarity. The more you obsess over fear, scarcity, or limitation, the more your life mirrors anxiety, frustration, and stagnation. Focus is not passive. It is the energy that transforms thought into reality, dreams into results, and potential into accomplishment. So, every morning, every hour, and every evening, ask yourself, where is my attention going? What am I nourishing today? What seeds am I planting in my mind, my heart, and my life? Because once you understand that what you focus on grows, you can take control. You can't stop reacting to noise, doubt, and distraction. You can begin to actively cultivate your vision, your values, and your purpose. You can create a life that grows exactly in the direction you choose, and in that awareness, a quiet yet unshakable power rises, a clarity that allows you to direct your energy, a resilience that protects your mind, and a focus that shapes your life far beyond what comfort, habit, or fear could ever do. Life has a way of testing us. The moments we thought would never come, the failures we didn't anticipate, the losses that shake us to our core, they arrive uninvited, unannounced, and often seem unfair. And when they hit, our first instinct is to resist, to complain, to ask why me. But here is the truth. Every setback is not a dead end. Every failure is not the final chapter. Every disappointment is not a reflection of your worth. Setbacks are setups. They are the universe's way of redirecting you, teaching you, and preparing you for what is next. Think about your life. How many times have you stumbled, fallen, or been rejected, only to discover later that it led to something greater? Maybe a job loss pushed you to start your own business. Maybe a broken relationship opened the door to self-discovery. Maybe failure in school or at work forced you to develop skills that now define your success. Every setback contains a hidden gift, a lesson, a preparation for the person you are becoming. The key is perspective. When you see setbacks as punishment, you stay small. When you see them as setups, you grow beyond your current limits. Setbacks are uncomfortable. They are meant to be. They challenge your patience, your resilience, your confidence, and your courage. They strip away the illusions of control and force you to confront reality. And while this can feel painful, this discomfort is necessary. Without it, you remain stagnant. Without it, you never discover the depth of your strength, the reach of your potential, or the limits of your fear. Pain is the signal, not the stop. Sign, it is the teacher, not the jailer. Every successful person you admire has a story of setback, failure, and struggle. They were rejected, doubted, criticized, or dismissed. Some failed multiple times before success. Some were pushed to the edge, questioning everything. And yet, they survived, adapted, and emerged stronger. The difference between those who fall once and never rise, and those who rise repeatedly, is their mindset. They understood that setbacks were not the end, they were setups for something greater. Setbacks force reflection. They demand that you pause, evaluate, and consider what truly matters. They strip away distractions, false beliefs, and habits that no longer serve you. They test your commitment to your goals and clarify your priorities. And often, when you embrace the challenge, when you stop resisting, and when you begin to see the opportunity within the obstacle, the path forward becomes clearer than it ever was before. There is also a hidden strength in realizing that setbacks are temporary. The moment you view a failure as permanent, fear takes root and hope withers. But setbacks, by nature, are temporary. They are moments in a larger journey. They are experiences, not identities. You are not your failures. You are not your losses. You are the response to them. And that response is where your power lies. Every setback is an invitation to rise, to adapt, to persevere, and to build resilience that will carry you farther than comfort ever could. Setbacks also teach humility and gratitude. They remind us that life is fragile, unpredictable, and beyond our control in many ways. They teach patience, endurance, and compassion for ourselves and others. And they create stories of triumph that inspire not just ourselves, but those who witness our resilience. Your struggles, when reframed as setups, become the foundation for a life that is stronger, wiser, and more purposeful. The difference between people who are defined by their setbacks and those who are strengthened by them is perspective and action. It's not the event itself, but how you respond. Do you allow it to break you, to keep you small, to foster bitterness and doubt? Or do you see it for what it is? A challenge, a lesson, a preparation, a push toward growth? Every time you choose the latter, you cultivate courage, resilience, and wisdom that can never be taken from you. So, the next time life knocks you down, the next time plans fail, the next time rejection stings, remember this: setbacks are setups. They are not a signal to quit. They are a signal to rise differently, stronger, smarter, and braver. Every setback contains within it a seed of transformation, an opportunity to learn, a door to growth, and when you embrace it, you discover the extraordinary truth. The very moments that seemed to hold you back are often the ones propelling you forward. Life has a way of making us focus on what we lack. We see what we don't have, what hasn't happened yet, what feels just out of reach. And in that gaze, we forget the beauty, the gifts, and the abundance that already surround us. But gratitude, the simple act of appreciating what is, has the power to transform your reality completely. Gratitude turns what you have into enough. It shifts your perspective, strengthens your heart, and ignites a quiet power within that cannot be shaken by circumstance. Think about it. When you wake up and your first thought is about what is missing, your day begins in scarcity. You carry a sense of emptiness, of dissatisfaction, of chasing something forever out of reach. But when you pause, breathe, and acknowledge the simple truths: your breath, your health, a loved one, the roof over your head, the opportunities still before you, the world changes. Suddenly, what seemed ordinary becomes extraordinary. Suddenly, your life feels abundant. Suddenly, enough is enough. Gratitude is not a mindset of complacency. It does not mean ignoring dreams or stopping growth. On the contrary, gratitude fuels progress. When you recognize the value of what you already have, you step into your power. You stop running from lack. You stop comparing yourself to others. And you begin to act from a place of sufficiency. Gratitude gives clarity. It shows you what is strong, what is worthy, and what deserves your focus. And from that clarity, you create more, not out of desperation, but out of purpose and love. Consider the people who seem endlessly joyful despite life's challenges. Often, they are not the ones with the most. They are the ones who notice what they do have. They see the beauty in small victories, in simple moments, in connections that cannot be measured. Gratitude turns even the smallest blessings into treasures. A smile, a conversation, a moment of peace, a lesson learned when you are grateful. These moments multiply, they grow, and the sense of enough is no longer a concept, but a lived experience. Gratitude is also a shield against negativity. When life feels heavy, when circumstances seem unfair, when fear or doubt creeps in, gratitude reminds you of the constants, the things that anchor you. It does not erase pain, but it gives context. It allows you to see the light even in shadows. It lets you move forward with courage and hope because you are anchored in what already exists, not solely in what is missing. Imagine starting every day with a simple affirmation. I am grateful for what I have. I am grateful for the lessons I've learned. I am grateful for the people who shape my life. I am grateful for the challenges that teach me strength. Notice how your mind shifts, how your heart softens, and how your energy changes. Gratitude creates a ripple effect. Your thoughts, your words, your actions begin to align with abundance. You are no longer living in lack. You are living in acknowledgement, appreciation, and empowered presence. Gratitude also connects you to others. When you see the value in what people bring to your life, when you acknowledge their efforts, love, and support, relationships deepen, compassion grows, bonds strengthen, and life feels richer not because it has changed externally, but because your perception has. Gratitude is the lens that reveals the fullness of life, and in seeing that fullness, you begin to act with generosity, kindness, and confidence. Every setback, every challenge, every moment of doubt becomes an opportunity for gratitude. Even pain carries lessons, even failure carries insight, even loss carries perspective. When you train yourself to find gratitude in all circumstances, you transform obstacles into stepping stones, scarcity into abundance, and fear into faith. You stop chasing more from external sources and realize that enough has always been within you. Gratitude is a daily practice, a conscious choice, and a powerful declaration. I am enough. I have enough. I am capable of more. It transforms your heart, your mind, and your life because what you focus on grows, and when you focus on what you already have, you discover a richness that cannot be measured by money, status, or possessions. True wealth is seeing enough in your life and using it as fuel to create more with joy, courage, and love. When you embrace gratitude fully, every moment becomes meaningful. Every breath becomes sacred. Every action becomes intentional. And the world stops feeling like a void of lack and starts feeling like a field of endless possibilities, waiting for you to acknowledge it, nurture it, and grow from it. Life is not something that happens to you. It is something you create, moment by moment, choice by choice. And the most liberating truth you can embrace is this: you are the author of your story. Every thought you think, every decision you make, every action you take, writes a line, a chapter, a plot twist in the narrative of your life. No one else holds the pen. No one else decides the direction. The power to create, to change, to shape, and to transform belongs entirely to you. Too often, people live as though life is pre-written. They blame their past, their upbringing, their failures, or circumstances. If only this had been different, I could be happy. If only I had been given that chance, I could succeed. And yet, every page you write begins now. The past is not your author, it is your reference. The present is your ink, and the future waits for your courage to leave a mark. Being the author of your story is not about controlling everything or guaranteeing perfection. Life is unpredictable. Challenges will arise. People will fail you. Circumstances will shift. But authorship is about ownership. It is about refusing to let your story be dictated by fear, by circumstance, or by someone else's expectations. It is about saying, no matter what happens, I decide how I respond. I decide what matters. I decide my next chapter. Every great story contains conflict, tension, and setbacks. But it is also shaped by resilience, courage, and action. Your life, like any story worth reading, is meant to have struggles. They are not mistakes. They are plot points that develop your character, your wisdom, and your strength. And here is the power. You decide how to use these experiences. You can let them define you, or you can let them refine you. You can let them defeat you, or you can let them propel you forward. Being the author also means taking responsibility for your narrative. You can no longer rely on excuses, blame, or external validation. The story of your life is written with your choices, and only yours. Each day is a blank page. How will you fill it? Will you write fear, doubt, and regret? Or will you write courage, action, and growth? Every small decision, repeated consistently, becomes the chapters that define who you are and who you will become. This truth is both humbling and empowering. Humbling, because it reminds you that no one else can live your story for you. Empowering, because it reminds you that no one else can stop you from creating the life you envision. You are not a passenger, you are the driver. You are not a bystander, you are the creator. And once you internalize this, the limitations that once held you begin to dissolve. Think about the narratives you've been told about yourself. You're not capable. You're not ready. You're not enough. These are drafts written by others' opinions, assumptions, fears, and they do not determine your final story. You have the power to revise, edit, and rewrite. You can delete self-doubt, rewrite fear as courage, and craft a plot of purpose, action, and achievement. Every day gives you that chance. Every moment is an opportunity to reclaim authorship. Being the author of your story also requires vision. You must see the life you want to live, the person you want to become, and the legacy you want to leave. Vision is the outline. Action is the writing. Reflection is the editing. And courage is the pen that keeps moving forward, even when the page seems blank or the plot uncertain. The greatest stories are written by those who refuse to stop writing. No matter how long the journey, no matter how difficult the chapters. And here is the most profound part. You are not only writing for yourself. Your story touches others. Your resilience inspires. Your courage empowers. Your choices shape not just your destiny, but the lives of those around you. The life you create is a ripple in the world. Every positive action, every act of integrity, every courageous decision leaves a mark beyond the page of your own life. So, remind yourself daily, I am the author of my story. When fear wants to pause you, remember this. When doubt wants to stop you, remember this. When life throws challenges that seem impossible, remember this. You are not powerless. You are not a victim of circumstance. You hold the pen. You control the narrative. You have the ability to write a life that inspires, uplifts, and leaves a legacy far greater than you imagined. And in that knowledge, a quiet strength arises in yielding, unwavering, and unstoppable, because your story, your life, and your future belong to you alone.